Yeah, this is Billy Zabka, listening and talking on Regular Joe's podcast, and I recommend you do the same. No mercy.
So if you're listening in to the Regular Joe's podcast, know that this is Beverly D'Angelo sending love out for anybody who loves me and who loves the Regular Joe's podcast.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is Daniel Logan. I play the young Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones and also the Clone Wars. This is the Regular Jones podcast. You're listening to the guys. Make sure you tune in for some more great interviews.
Can you just say your name and that you're listening to the Regular Joe's podcast?
My name, and I'm listening to Regular Joe's podcast.
That's excellent.
Is that proper?
We were kind of going for you to say your name, and you are listening to the Regular Joe's podcast. But again, you're an actor. You've got to put your own creative spin on things.
You're listening to Regular Joe's podcast.
Hello, everybody. Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, and you are listening to the Regular Joe's podcast. You know what time it is? Morphin' time. Booyah!
My name's Jason Isaacs, and you're listening to the Regular Joe's podcast.
Hi, guys. My name is Katrina Law, and you are listening to the Regular Joe's podcast.
And I'm Luciana Caro from Battlestar Galactica, and you are listening to the Regular Joe's.
Hi, this is Martin Kove, your sensei from the Karate Kid movies, and you're listening to Regular Joe's podcast. And just remember, if you're not listening to Regular Joe's podcast, there's no mercy for you.
My name's Rooker, and you're listening to the Regular Joe's podcast.
Hi there, I'm Mike Quinn, and you'll know me as Nine Numb from the Star Wars films, and you're listening to the Regular Joe's podcast.
Hello, everybody. This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Men, and you're listening to the Regular Joe's podcast.
Hey, I'm Nikki Klein from Battlestar Galactica, and you're listening to the Regular Joe's.
How are you guys? Hey, Sam Jones, Flash Gordon here, and you're listening to Regular Joe's podcast.
Hi, I'm Seth Gilliam, and you're listening to the Regular Joe's podcast.
This is Stephen Williams, and you're listening to the Regular Joe's podcast.
Hi, I'm Tim Rose. I played Admiral Akbar in Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, and finally and sadly, The Last Jedi. You've been listening to the Regular Joe's podcast. And remember, it's a trap.
To movies and toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Barry Kay. This is going to be a little bit different of a show this week. We are actually taking a little bit of time off for the holidays and didn't want you guys to go without anything. So we do have a couple shows we're going to pop up in the feed. We were all bummed out this year. I mean, obviously we're all bummed out for a lot of reasons, but we were bummed out that we didn't get to go to Rhode Island Comic Con because it's become really a bit of a tradition for us, and it's our favorite show of the year. We always have a great time, and obviously we weren't able to do that this year. Nobody was. So we thought it might be fun to go back through the archives and pull up every interview that we've ever done at Rhode Island Comic Con and stitch it all together. So as we were doing that, we realized it was a lot of material. So rather than have it be 1 3-hour plus show, we decided to break it up into 2. So follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, give us a review on iTunes, and hopefully you guys are making the best of the rest of 2020, as we all are. Hope you have a great holiday season. Hope you all have a great new year, and we will be back. But until we are, please enjoy our Rhode Island Comic Con exploits. So without further ado, let's get started with our interviews from the year 2013.
What's going on, Regular Joe's?
Not too much. What's going on with you?
I don't know. I just was roped over here to sit down with you. Saturday night here in Rhode Island, I decided I'm going to do that because that's why I came. And you guys are sitting here with the full setup, and if I walk by you, it just wouldn't make any sense for anybody or the universe. So,
well, we appreciate that
my
very
pleasure.
much.
Yes. How
You having a good time so far?
I'm having a great time on no sleep.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
We were supposed to be on the flight yesterday. My flight left an hour after the shooting in LA.
Oh, jeez.
So
really?
we had to miss that flight and reroute and go out of Long Beach. So we had the red eye last night. Left at 9, got in at 7.
Yeah.
At the airport and been up on my feet all day. So you guys have a podcast?
We do. Podcast. Yeah. We talk about movies, TV, collecting
Regular
toys.
Joes. Pretty much, I get a lot of people saying, "Hey, I got a podcast," but you don't know who all these people are that have podcasts, so you don't want to do them because you don't know who all these people are. And they can do a podcast now.
I feel that way about these guys.
We're a good example of that, but
but you call it Regular Joes. You know, it's not like you're not like some fancy name. It's it's like you're just calling it like it is. Do you have any questions before I go to party? Elizabeth Shue is a beautiful girl. I love her very much. And yes, I'm still sore that Machio stole it from me.
I understand.
We don't want to answer about that.
Oh, good. All right, then you come up with one.
And you've been doing How I Met Your Mother, right?
I have, yeah.
Has that been fun?
Yeah, man, it's been great. Yeah, my big episode, it all leads up to is November 18th, actually.
Oh, awesome.
It's like 3 weeks from now is like a kind of a mega episode for me.
The Bachelor Party episode last season was awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
I actually was impressed by the clown work. It really shows your range.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And I also like the fact that
smartass of the group. If you didn't
no,
know,
he's being honest.
After all these years, you have been vindicated, and it's been established that you are the true hero of the Karate Kid.
Really sweet.
And I think that's great. So
yeah, it's a nice thing. I mean, Barney kind of represents a little part of pop culture that's on my team.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Exactly
on
right.
television.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Do you find people still recognize you from that?
From what?
The Karate Kid. I mean, is that the thing that? Yeah.
Sure. It's playing right now somewhere.
Absolutely. Yes.
You look great for I wasn't going to say for your age. 32. But some of these people like, you were who? I don't know. But
I'll tell you, the Karate Kid is multi-generational. I've got young kids, and they still watch that movie and love it. I mean, it
the original one.
Yeah,
right?
the original. Yeah, the original is the only one.
Wait, they made a remake of that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was Kung Fu and in China, but that doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
No, I mean the movie's magic. It's got something that's rare, and it plays all generations and all ages, and it's got many levels to it. It's a rare film, to last this long. I mean, I've done a bunch of movies like Back to School, which is a freaking great funny comedy.
It is a great kind.
It's not like known so well.
Not iconic like that.
It's iconic, but it's not like Karate Kid's part of like the culture now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We just interviewed Terry Farrell, and she was in Back to School also.
Yeah, I love Terry.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, we had a good time in Wisconsin.
If you were stuck on a desert island and had one DVD, what would it be and why?
That's a great question, man. I had one DVD. Well, there's a couple of my favorite movies that are kind of random, but one is The Professional.
Yes, excellent choice. Yep.
Another one is a movie called Close Range. You ever see that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sean Penn and Chris Walken. I mean, that's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are just a couple of obscure ones.
Those are good choices.
Yeah. That and Cloudy Meatballs.
Well, we really appreciate you coming over.
It's my pleasure. Let me get Tommy over here. Somebody that's got.
Yeah, that'd be great. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure,
Big
man.
fans.
My pleasure.
Fans.
Yeah, this
Wow.
is really awesome of you. Thank you.
We're here with C. Thomas Howell. I mean, I gotta say, The Hitcher, Outsiders, some of my favorite movies.
You're going way
Absolutely.
I'm going way back.
We do. That's what we're all about, though.
Yeah.
So
We are. It's all right.
New Spider-Man too.
Popped up in Spider-Man. Yeah.
So you having a good show so far?
Great. Had a great
You were
day.
in Chiller.
I had a great day. I was at Chiller
last week. That's
with
right.
Ralph.
With Ralph. Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I was there dressed as Batman like I was today, but
Nice.
it's a little sweaty.
You might have missed him.
There was about 40 of you.
Yeah, that's right.
He was the best one, though.
Mine was pretty good, I gotta say. I put a lot of weight, except for the belt holds my stomach in. But.
I'm Batman.
but enough about Batman.
Yeah, enough about us. We want to talk to you.
Okay, man. Let's go.
So
I like how you guys are looking at each other right
Okay.
now. Hey, Tommy Howell, come over here and do a podcast. We don't know what the hell to say.
Okay, so we're going to start with our standard question.
All right, man.
You're stuck in a desert island.
Yeah.
You happen to have had the forethought to bring a solar-powered DVD player with you.
Yeah.
What's the DVD that you want with you on that desert island?
Shawshank.
Yes, an early choice for us. That was excellent. Yep.
Do that every week. We pick a desert line DVD.
Yeah.
Don't you hate when people go, I don't know?
We get a lot of that.
That's the worst. That's why I had to answer. Because
that's a good answer.
So,
that's a hard question.
Of your films, personal favorite?
That's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
I have personal favorites for experiences, and then I have personal favorites for outcomes of movies.
Yeah. No, this could be just.
I'm sort of a Hitcher fan.
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
Hitcher.
The Hitcher's a good movie, man. And then there's a real underrated movie I did called That Night with Juliette Lewis, which I highly recommend.
Yep.
Outsiders is iconic. It's not, my type of movie, but I love it, and it was one of the best experiences I ever had making. I don't know if you saw a new show that I've done called Southland.
Yes.
I played sort
absolutely.
of, a irreverent cop, which was
It's on TNT now, right?
my favorite job. It's just been canceled, by the way.
I know the people at Turner. I'll give them a call.
These bastards.
But okay.
But that was my favorite job I've ever had.
Really?
In my life.
And is that the most TV you've done? I mean, like as a series?
Yeah, 5 years on that show.
Yeah.
I had a pretty good run on Criminal Minds with a character called the Reaper, which was real successful.
Yeah.
And that role had a pretty, it impacted my life as an actor a lot, because people were like, "Shit, that's Pony Boy. What's going on there, man?" Yeah.
That's funny.
And it's really difficult to shake the childhood roles in this town until you do something significant.
Yeah.
And both Southland and Criminal Minds were important for me as an artist.
No, that's interesting. Like 10 years ago, would something significant have been on television? I mean, TV's really
It's the best place to be now, television. Yeah. The best writers, the best actors.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing.
It's the place to be.
Transformation.
Because today, man, they stopped making good movies unless, they make $200 million Marvel comic movies at the studios.
Yes, exactly.
But, independent movies have really struggled. There's the occasional one that pops up, but I'm just talking about in general.
Sure. Unless you have $150 million, it's tough.
It's tough.
Special effects stuff.
The nice thing with independent movies, at least now, though, is that there's a way to get them out nationally with on demand that you never could do.
Well, that's what's great now, man. I mean, you can make a movie with an iPhone if you're clever.
Yep.
It's just about being smart, and there's a lot of really smart kids. And I applaud the independent filmmaker. That being said, to have something, if you want to be in something that's going to be seen, be on television. Right. My last episode of Criminal Minds, which was 2 or 3 weeks ago, had 13 million viewers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Exactly.
TV. I mean, Walking Dead is a phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's just,
man. I mean, I watch sports for me, but I also I watch 2 shows. I watch Boardwalk Empire and Game of Thrones.
Outstanding. Yep.
Those are the 2 shows that I watch. Other than that, I watch sports. I just don't have time to invest in a network show and watch 24 episodes of freaking 2.5 Men.
Right.
I can't do it. All right,
really
man.
Appreciate enough of your time.
Hey, thank you guys. It was a pleasure, man.
You having a good show so far?
Very good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just tiring because of the shooting in L.A. We had to take a 9:10 p.m. flight out of Long Beach, and we got here at 5:31 this morning.
Oh, jeez, that's tough. Yeah. If you were on a desert island, you could have one DVD with you. What would it be?
Raiders of the Lost Ark or Red River.
Ooh, great
choices. We've chosen them before.
Yeah.
Raiders very, very good.
Favorite of all of ours.
Yep.
What we were just talking to the guys about TV and stuff. You watch stuff on TV, like all the new shows? What's some stuff that's...
My favorite show right now is The Newsroom.
Yes.
I just love it. I was asked to vote for the best male in the Emmys, the best male performance in a dramatic show, and I've got the 6 discs they sent me, and just Jeff Daniels was just sensational.
Yeah.
He was a surprise. I mean, they thought it'd go to the guy from Breaking Bad.
Yes,
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston,
Well, I looked at all 6 discs, and Jeff Daniels, and it was a disc of a show that I had not seen, the very first episode, with this massively long speech that he had on air.
Brilliant, though.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And, I just love Emily Mortimer. I just think, but I mean, it's written by, Aaron Sorkin.
It's just
doesn't get better than that.
Doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
The dialogue is just amazing.
And every actor loves to be able to speak words like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, God knows we've all done stuff where we've been swayed into the wrong movies because the roles were so good.
Yeah.
But you can't fix a fair or just okay movie by doing a good job in a role that's attractive. And I've done that an awful lot of times. And when you do Aaron Sorkin's lines, you're the luckiest actor in town because it's so rhythmic and real and articulate, and it allows you to utilize your instrument better than anybody else. You don't have to try to do anything. All your emotions just arrive in very subtle ways because the dialogue is so human, so profound.
Anything else on television you watched?
I like Boardwalk Empire.
Yes.
I like Blacklist.
Blacklist, yeah.
Yes.
Also,
I've been pushing the two of them on that because I think it's
very imaginative
it
writing.
shows some promise.
Spade.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
James Spader,
wonderful.
So we were talking to Billy about the fact that the original Karate Kid movie is just so ageless and timeless. Do you have any thoughts on just what it was about that movie and that group of people together that made that such a special movie?
Every once in a while, you find a movie that's iconic, and you go around to these autograph shows, and I've been to them in London and Germany, and you're an icon. You go there. Everybody knows your line. They wear shirts with your face on it. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. The movie is identifiable to every generation imaginable. So it's like part of the American vocabulary. The Karate Kid, sweep the leg. No
wax
mercy.
on, wax off.
Wax on, wax on, wax off is been used in a retirement home for certain exercises for elderly people. So it amazed me, and the movie is just a classic. And I think people like Humphrey Bogart, James Stewart, Cary Grant, they had 4 or 5 of those under their belt. I mean, Humphrey Bogart had Maltese Falcon, Casablanca, which is my favorite film of all time. And he had, Petrified Forest, he had African Queen, he had,
Treasure Sierra Madre.
Yeah, 5, 6 classics.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore. I think the only person that's come close to that is probably Harrison Ford.
Yeah, we were just going to say
possibly Tom Hanks.
Tom
Hanks, and that would be
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
It doesn't happen the way it used to.
They don't make that many classics. In the last 20, 25 years, what do we have? We have Avatar. We have probably Titanic.
Sure.
I don't know. I guess Star Wars, 25 years ago, Star Wars. But that's about it, And I just think that the movies, the writing is the core.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The writing is the core. And when you have guys like Sorkin writing it, or, Patty Chayefsky years ago, or you have, just wonderful writers, even David Kelly on television.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have a chance to really have a hit. And then you'll watch it. But I don't know. I'm not into the dark shows. I'm not into, as good as the acting and writing is on Breaking Bad, as good as the acting and the writing is on Homeland. The furthest I ever went was 24.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love 24. I love the tension and nonstop pace of it. But then now everybody's just copying 24.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't want to see dark shows all the time.
Sure.
Yeah.
And everything is dark.
Well, the world
Blacklist.
is dark enough, right? TV, when you sit down and watch something, sometimes you just want to be removed from that and uplifted and entertained in a positive way.
I watched Sleepy Hollow the other day, and it was fun because I'm a big proponent of the Western, and I like things that, now I just finished a surrealistic Western, and you have to sort of combine genres now to make something like the Western work because it's such an overexposed genre in itself. 1920 to 1967, one of every 3 movies made in Hollywood was a Western.
Yes.
So it's obviously overexposed, and you have to go beyond Cowboys and Aliens and beyond Lone Ranger to make something palatable for this generation. Younger guys, they don't know from Westerns. So you got to combine genres, and surrealism and the Western can work.
Yeah, sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
So Sleepy Hollow, combining contemporary times with, period of what was Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane.
Yeah, it's Revolutionary War.
So it was 1780,
Yeah.
1790.
Yeah.
So, that might work. But it's a tricky thing now. Everybody, the tastes of the kids are so sophisticated. They've seen so much.
And they want immediate, they want action, they want Avengers, Iron Man, they want this immediate response.
You know what show is kind of combining all those things? Have you seen Revolution on NBC?
Yeah.
So it's got the...
But it's all post-apocalyptic.
Right, yes. Yeah.
It's like life after death.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be another way to go about entertaining.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
We would, during Halloween, we were talking, I was at my son's house, and they had a whole Halloween set up and a whole tunnel set up and lights and everything to lure people in for trick-or-treating. And now, we even had a guy rolling on the ground like a zombie. From his waist down, it was immobile, and he just would crawl. And it was really good. That was really good. And you say to yourself, well, we grew up on skeletons making noise and talking and all that, like Haunted House at Disneyland.
Right.
Now, it's so sophisticated what they do to scare people. Imagine what they'll have to do in cinema or in television in 20 years to really create something like The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Where will you go?
Exactly.
Right.
That's true.
You wonder if it ends up.
Is it going to be?
Right.
You wonder if it ends up going the other way, just from.
I hope so.
Yeah, I kind of hope so.
In order to get happy, you got to really be with this audience that's out there now. You're going to have to really have some sophisticated written material.
Yeah.
If you're going to go the other direction of things being a little more white and black and not as gray as it all is today.
Yeah, you look at something like the Newsroom, there's an underlying optimism to that. They're looking at what's wrong in the world, but they're still, they're putting across the idea that there are people out there conscious of this and trying to fix it and trying to drag those things into the light. And I think there's room for something like that. And I hope we see more of that.
I do too. I do too, because, I'm the last one that ever think I'd watch a show just about a newsroom.
Yeah.
There's about as much action and charm in that show, as there is in Obama.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that it's so interesting to watch the work.
Yeah.
It's so real. It's so glib.
Yeah.
I also like that they take real world situations on that show and play off of them.
And integrate that in there.
Yeah.
The last episode.
And they don't get too specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They
don't tie themselves down to a date or time.
No, he's a Republican. I don't know what Sorkin is, but he pokes fun enough at what's going on with a certain margin that you can go either way.
Yeah.
You can buy the shit the government says, or you can not buy it.
Right.
And his writing leans both ways. The absurdity of the government or the absurdity of the situation in the news, and yet it's about ratings.
Yeah.
They'll go back and forth.
We've taken enough.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming to talk to us.
Yeah, I'm fading. Otherwise, I'd talk to you guys more about Red River and the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and the Wild Bunch, and all my stuff. Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story though before I go.
Sure.
About the Italian Western. I was in Cannes Film Festival, and I loved all the Italian Westerns. I have a lot of big linen posters of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more, all in Italian or French in my house. So I went and I met Sergio Leone, and we chatted, and he didn't speak English very well. And his brother-in-law there translating, and I talked all about the Italian Western. I think it was in the Majestic Hotel in Cannes, and we talked all about his films. And it was really so enlightening, and he was charming, but didn't speak English that well. So when he came to cast Once Upon a Time in America in L.A. at the Chateau Marmont, I memorized Do You Remember Me? We Met in Cannes, and I memorized it in Italian. So I got to meet him, and I was up for one of the parts. I was up for the Bobby De Niro part, and he says to me, and I sat down at the table, and his brother-in-law's there, the translator. So I said in Italian, "Do you remember me? We met in Cannes." And he says in almost perfect English, "Do I remember you? You're the boy that knows more about the Maya movies than me." Made my day. I didn't care if I got the part or not.
That's great. That's fantastic.
And Sergio Leone was a giant, just like John Ford or Howard Hawks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
All those.
Just great stuff. Good. Anyway,
hey,
good night,
thank
gentlemen.
you so much.
Thank you.
We're here with Nikki Klein and Luciana Caro, both from Battlestar Galactica. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Yeah, you guys having a good show so far?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. So what would you say was sort of the hardest part about the work that you guys did on Battlestar?
Well, I don't want to speak for Luciana, but maybe dying. I mean, dying is hard sometimes in many ways. I don't know. What do you think?
I think people, when they watch TV, at least when I watch TV, it always looks so glamorous. But there's nothing glamorous about shooting Battlestar Galactica. It was like really long hours, 17-hour days sometimes, tired, cold, rainy Vancouver. In a rubber. For me, I was in a rubber suit, so I was like sweating or freezing. It was disgusting. So I think that part was like the really rough, like the
physical.
Like the physical challenge of it, and running. You're running with this rubber thing, or you're in the space.
You had overalls; they must have been comfortable.
Ish. The thing about the overalls is I had a bunch of little fake tools in all the pockets, and so whenever I went to the bathroom, it was this whole ordeal of like trying not to drop a wrench in the toilet because I'd have to take the whole thing off, and there'd be little pieces flying everywhere.
And then you have to make sure that it goes back in the right spot for continuity.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You guys are both probably too young, but was the old Battlestar on your radar at all when you auditioned or got
For me, not until I auditioned, and then I started learning about it, and I started watching a couple episodes once I got the part. And, yeah.
So obviously Battlestar became this big thing, cultural thing. How far into it, when you guys, from when you started, did it take to sort of realize that it was more than just sort of a remake of the original show, and that it became something bigger?
I think for me it's an ongoing process that I keep, every convention I go to, I realize just how epic and powerful a show it's been in, because it still reaches more and more people around the world. I still get people coming up to me saying, I just finished watching it,
or I'm just starting the series.
Exactly, yeah. So it's from the beginning, there were some people like Edward James Olmos who I think somehow knew that this was going to be a huge thing.
From the get-go.
He did,
and
and I was like, that's awesome that you're so enthusiastic about it. I'm really glad, but I really didn't understand what it was.
And he also said, you'll never work on a show like this again. Yeah. This is a once in a lifetime thing that's going to happen right now.
Yeah.
It seems like, the show originally had a lot of following. I don't think it was particularly great, but you guys did a remake, which easily could have been, no big deal, but it was so well written, so well acted, so well, set decoration, everything. It just doesn't come that often.
The original show was sort of nostalgic for a lot of people, but the show that you guys did went way beyond what they ever did on the original series.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Thank you.
You guys aware of the event that they did a couple years back at the UN?
Yeah.
I actually got to go to that. That was amazing.
Wow.
Really, really cool.
Yeah. I mean, that is one of the things I love about the show, is that it's a starting point to talk about really important issues and question what it means to be human and why we're here and what's going to happen if technology. I mean, technology already is way beyond, I think, our understanding of ethics. So I think having shows like ours that can help you imagine the problems that we'll need to solve are really important.
Good answer.
Here with Gil Gerard. If you were on a desert island and you had one DVD you could have there, what would it be?
How to survive on a desert island. I'm not looking to be entertained. I'm looking to survive. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. I'll take that. Here with Sam Jones. If you were on a desert island and you could have only one DVD, what would you choose?
Well, that's a great question. Oh my gosh. What would I be foolish to say if I didn't say Flash Gordon? But
we take it.
One DVD.
Yeah.
On a deserted island.
Yes.
Well, let me just throw this at you. I'd also have to have electricity and a DVD player, right? Solar powered DVD. I've never been asked that. Well, obviously it'd have to be something to do with survival and beating all odds.
That's what he said.
It'd have to be Flash Gordon then.
That's the choice. One more question. Who would win a fight, Buck Rogers or Flash Gordon?
Oh, yeah, it would have to be Flash Gordon.
Okay.
Flash would just sneak up behind him when he wasn't looking.
Exactly.
So after our success in 2013, we went back to the Omni Providence in 2014, set up again, and we're lucky enough to get a few more really cool interviews.
Let's see. We got an interview with Karen Allen, which is actually our second interview with Karen Allen.
She was the first guest on the
She was on our
podcast.
very first podcast we ever did.
She's awesome. She's so sweet. She's like fun to talk to, interested to talk to everybody. So,
and here's what she had to say.
Marion is such a strong character. At the time when action movies had sort of damsels in distress, was it written that way, or did it sort of develop in the process?
No, it was written that way, and it was one of the things I really, really loved about it when I read it. Is it was the scene that was given to me to read long before I had the script. So audition was the scene in the bar, where she punches him in the face, and I thought, wow, that's like a really tough, cool character, and it made me really, really want to pursue the film. So
I feel like there hasn't been as many strong female characters in modern movies with all these superhero movies and stuff. What do you think about that?
I have to say I don't see that many superhero kind of movies. I want to think that there are still like a lot of really strong female characters in films. Certainly the Hunger Games. Katniss is like that's a strong character.
I think there have been more in recent years than there were probably from the 70s through the 90s and into the 2000s. I think it's starting up again now.
Yeah.
With movies like Hunger Games and Divergent and movies like that. But,
No, I loved watching her, Jennifer Lawrence, in those movies. I mean, she plays a really, and I remember watching one of the Zorro film with Catherine Zeta-Jones, that very first one. Wow. I mean, she played a wonderful, strong character in that. I think that there are, maybe not as many as we would like.
What was it like for you after so many years to come back and revisit the character and put the bookend on the series?
Absolute pleasure, really delightful. I don't think I really had in my wildest dreams a thought that they would bring my character back and marry us and we would have a child. I thought maybe they'd bring me back and create some little storyline where we ran into each other, but to bring my character so fully into the story and bring the characters back together in a love relationship was a complete surprise, and also just a kind of thrilling thing to have a chance to do,
Like putting the family back together one last time, right?
Yeah. So, Raiders ends on a very up note in the sense that we're going off to have a drink together, but then you don't ever really know what happens to the character. So, it's great.
Do you think there's going to be another one or more?
I think that there might be. Yeah.
Oh, we have a scoop. The regular Joe's scoop.
No, it's not really a scoop. I know that they would like there to be, not just me. I would love there to be, but I think that everybody would like there to be another one. And how they are, they're very, they care enormously that they get a really good story and then a really good script. They don't want to do it just to do it. So I think that they're hoping that they can find a story and a script that they're really happy with.
Then we saw Katrina Law, who's now in Arrow. She plays Nisa on Arrow. She was in Spartacus. I think she was in Chuck. She
nicest, sweetest, coolest
She was
chick.
nice, sweet, talkative, engaging, incredibly hot. Just everything.
That too.
She was
everything.
absolutely
Just
amazing.
seemed
She
so
couldn't have
happy
been
to
more
be here.
gracious. Couldn't have been more gracious.
Yeah.
And to my endless delight, actually knows background on the character that she was playing.
Yeah.
It was amazing, as you'll hear in just a moment, that she actually did some research and read some backstory on her character, which is just a really cool thing.
Yeah, and you'll see, and she took some great pictures with us.
Yeah, those
you'll
will be
see.
on the
Check out
Facebook.
our Facebook. He's got pictures with us on the Facebook. She was great. The Facebook. Yeah, so here's what she has to say. Really nice. Can Nisa kick the Arrow's ass? Like, really? I mean, I think she can.
Wow, I feel like I'm just going to get myself in trouble no matter how I answer this question. I would feel like she could, just because I'm not sure if the Arrow writers will be using the Lazarus pits, but if they are, then my character is technically 429 years old. So that means even if she only trained for part of her life, she would have had at least 300 years of training. So compared to Arrow's 5 years, no matter how good he is, I feel like she would be.
Follow-up question.
So obviously you're very familiar with your character. What did you do for research?
I cheated. I have a whole bunch of friends that are huge comic book fan people, and they do podcasts on it. So as soon as they figured out who my character was, they basically wrote me essays. And granted, my character's only been in 19 comics, so there wasn't much on my character, but they started writing about my father and about Talia and all this other stuff. But apparently in the comic books, I kill my father, I kill my sister over and over again, dip her in the Lazarus pits. Yeah, I'm just like, hey, die, live, die, live. So I'm not really sure where Arrow will be going with this, just because obviously it's not centered around my character or my family, so who knows? I don't even know if they're going to use the Lazarus pits, but it would be interesting if they did.
I mean, how good an archer are you? You were in Arrow, is it in Spartacus? Did you use a bow and arrow? In this Legend of Secret, you used a bow and arrow?
No, here I had an Aegil, which...
What's that, like a stick?
Yeah, that's what we call it, a stick.
So how much training have you done with archery?
For Arrow, actually none. But the reason why is because it's a compound bow, so they're not going to give you an arrow. Right. Oh, okay. Because even if you like accidentally shoot it, you're going to kill somebody. Whereas on Spartacus, on Spartacus we did a lot of training, and I was actually pretty good at it. And the best part was the sticks were literally sticks that they picked up off the ground, put a little notch in the back of it, so if you could shoot that thing straight and hit your target, you're actually pretty good. But my dad has a varsity letter in archery, so I feel like somewhere it got passed down in the genes.
Are you a fan of fantasy? You've been in so much fantasy, the genre. Growing up and stuff, were you into this, or just you just...
I feel like I wasn't huge into fantasy when it came to television or movies, but actually, no, that's not true, because Dark Crystal and Legend, those are some of my favorites, but I was huge into the books, so the Wheel of Time series is one of my favorites, and I've read the Game of Thrones series, and a couple of other things that usually involve dragons and like wizards and fairies and magical people, so... I feel like in the book world I'm more there than...
Do you want any F, Marry, Kill questions? No.
Well, yeah, F, Marry, Kill questions. Those are fun. They can be, as long as you know who the people are. Sometimes...
Okay, Iron Man, Tony Stark, Captain America, or Thor?
F, Thor.
I agree. She speaks dreamy. Come on.
So then Iron Man or Tony Stark?
Captain America or Iron Man.
Marry Captain America, kill Tony Stark.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be a good dude to you, right?
Yeah.
He's so virtuous and honest.
The guy that you want by your side, you want him to be a good, solid, good old-fashioned man.
Yeah.
Who can change the oil and, opens doors, and that's what you want.
With a shield.
Exactly. Yeah. But can't be fucked with.
Yeah.
So.
I like that.
Terry Carter from Battlestar Galactica. He played Colonel Ty on the original series of Battlestar Galactica. Super nice guy, again.
Yeah.
We had a bit of a conversation with him. We talked about Battlestar and why it caught on the way it did, and that was a fun conversation. We also found out that he never really got into the new series, so he didn't have much to say about that. But good guy. Here's what he had to say.
Battlestar was like the first post-Star Wars science fiction show. At the time, did it seem like it would be such an iconic show?
Well, frankly, we had big expectations out of it. We knew, just reading and working on the pilot, we knew this was going to be a big thing. We expected it to last for several years. Unfortunately, there were legal things behind the scenes that prevented that from happening.
I expected it to go on for years, too. I was really disappointed when it didn't.
Not as disappointed as we were.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it was. I mean, I loved the show. We did much
too.
Fun to watch as a kid.
We enjoyed doing it. I mean, it just happened to be an unusual grouping of actors. It was like a family.
Yeah.
We're still together. We still stay in touch with each other even now, 35 years later.
Wow. It was very cinematic for a TV show, too. I mean, the special effects were movie quality, where in the past, a lot of TV stuff, really, they didn't put that much into it.
A lot of money. They spent a lot of money on it. Yeah. And it was released as a movie,
Oh, I know. I saw it.
Yeah,
I saw it in the theaters. I remember as a kid going to see it.
Okay, so we're back, and now we've got Seth Gilliam, who joined us in the lobby here.
Hello.
A big fan of your work on The Wire.
Thank you.
Absolutely awesome. And last week we got to see you on The Walking Dead.
Yes. Well, the last couple of weeks.
The last couple,
yeah.
Quick question is, okay, tell us what happens for the rest of the season.
Everybody dies.
Oh, see?
It's horrible.
Heard it here first.
It's a massive flood.
See, I heard the bird calls from young Obi-Wan.
So,
Thank you.
how was that? How you jumping into
tell us about that experience.
the hottest show on TV right now?
It's been pretty wild, mostly because I had about a week and a half before going from knowing nothing about the show to being on the set and shooting. But everyone on the set when I first got there, starting with Andrew Lincoln, who was the first actor that I met who plays Rick Grimes on the show, has been really, really lovely and have given me the sense that I could try just about anything and it wouldn't be embarrassing for them.
It's tough. There's such a close-knit family.
Yes. It's one of the things you worry about when you walk into a show that's already got its own thing going and the engine is going. Like a finely tuned bird, you want to be sure that you don't upset the chemistry of it.
Yeah.
So so the acquiescence to the madman coming on to do something different was good.
Well, everything we hear about that, the way that show operates at this point, they are such a tight knit family because they've been working in such crazy conditions together for so many years now. So is it intimidating coming into that and being the new guy?
Yeah, it was only intimidating until I actually met them. Yeah. The first scene that I did was the scene where I think Father Gabriel is on top of the rock and he's being surrounded by walkers, and when they all came, slowly creeping up on me or running up on to see what the scene was, there was a brief moment of, oh, there's Rick. There's Daryl, there's so-and-so, but at the same time, no, I'm somebody else. So let's get into it. They've been fantastic, and all the intimidation any intimidation that I've felt is only really from stuff that comes outside. It's it's the promotion of the show, and it's how many millions of people are watching the show, and how many countries watch the show and translate it or not. But when it comes to actually doing the work and being on the set with the other actors, they're fantastic, and for them it's just like, telling the story.
Right. Yeah. Were you familiar with the show prior to getting the cast in the show, or are you a fan of it, or?
No, I didn't watch the show. I came to the show. I watched the first 3 seasons a week before I went down to Georgia.
Crash course.
And then I watched season 4 the Saturday before I worked, and then Monday I was on the set.
That's awesome.
Very good bird calls, by the way.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive, really.
I love the bird call. We have to have
I got a wire question for you.
Sure.
In fact, I was having this conversation with someone the other day. It's very common to see shows that have 2 or more wire cast members in them.
Yes.
Have you had a lot of other work that you did where you were working with people, or is it just because that ensemble cast was, you had such great actors, you're just going to run into them again?
Well, I think one of the things about it is that a lot of people in the industry, a lot of writers, were coming up and watching the Wire in a way that the viewing public wasn't. And paying attention to things that a lot of the average people turning on TV on a Sunday at 9 o'clock weren't. So now they're in positions where they're doing their own shows. They're the head writers on their own shows, or they're executive producing shows, or they're what have you. And what they have as a base to pull from are the actors that they've seen on The Wire.
Absolutely, yep.
And so consequently, I think you see on these really top-notch shows because they were, you know what I mean? They were following the leads of the people that they were impressed and moved by, in David Simon or Tom Fontana before him, for Dave,
awesome.
For David Simon, that now the quality of their work is along the same lines, where it's dealing with humanity and the interpersonal relationships of the characters, regardless of what your typical TV scenario may want to set up.
That's what it's all about. I mean, like my wife is like, I don't want to watch a show about zombies. Not about zombies. It's about how the people interact with each other. I mean, that's the draw for me.
I think absolutely. It's what are people like in the most extreme circumstances?
Exactly.
I use a flippant Black Friday reference to like the shopping thing before like Thanksgiving.
Now
whatever,
Black
Christmas.
Thursday.
Oh, now Black. Yes, because everything's moved up and moved up. It's like it's Halloween, but here are Christmas decorations.
Exactly.
But I mean, even if you see people in like a panic for getting a deal on an electronic, piece of
what
equipment,
are these people going to do?
what would they be
society
like?
collapses?
Should all of the rules just suddenly not apply?
That's actually really funny because they can't even handle getting a toaster, let alone
that's
going to be a new series. It's going to be Black Friday. The Black
Friday we're out of toasters.
Yeah.
I remember Cabbage Patch Dolls back in the day.
Yeah.
People were like cutting each other in the aisles for that.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
It's crazy.
As my friend the Bird will say.
In the zombie apocalypse, where do you want to be? And we've said
we've done a show about it. Like, what's our plan?
You want to be at a Costco.
We've been to Costco. Nice.
Lots of food.
Big block
Nice.
building.
Yeah.
Windows.
Does Costco have the rolling gate that they pull down the
Yeah.
front, or do they just have that real plexiglass, unbreakable glass?
No, they have the gate.
Gets right through.
I've scoped them out.
You want the
That's
rolling
our advice.
gate. Absolutely.
Do you have any zombie apocalypse survival advice that you picked up that you want to hand along?
Something not just yet. Still
Okay.
trying to survive in the zombie apocalypse. I have no
understand.
tips. I'd
Yep.
be the last person to ask on
Yeah,
what to
okay. Well, keeping that information close is good, too. When you got a plan.
It's like the high school track medal. That meant a lot to me. Let's get that. It's back what? It's in the basement. There's no lights. I'm going down, dude.
Yeah.
I have a penknife.
Yep.
That's so funny.
So the scene that you guys shot in the basement of the food,
In the water, right? In the food
Oh,
thing.
God.
Yes.
that was such a creepy scene.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
what was that like filming that?
That was actually a lot of fun. It was 12 hours in that tank, and
Really?
I started out, and it was the water was very cold, so they gave me a wetsuit. And I thought, okay, the wetsuit. And one of the tech guys was like, I don't know if you want to do the wetsuit, dude. I mean, they get kind of hot. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. But the water is really cold, and we're going to be in it for a while. So I put the wetsuit on, and I started sweating like a hostage. It was horrible. I started getting dizzy and lightheaded.
really? Wow.
And then I had to climb on the top of like this like food stand thing
Right,
and then
yep.
did whatever. And it was right underneath the lights. And 3 takes in a row, they had to stop to adjust for something. So I said, and rolling and stop. So it's like 16 minutes underneath the light with the wetsuit on, about to fall into the water, hoping it would refresh me.
Yeah.
It did not. It was horrible.
It wasn't helping.
But Andrew Lincoln was like, this is wild, man. It was like, you're right, Andrew, this is wild.
You know what, though? It came off sufficiently creepy.
It really did.
Oh,
It
cool.
was funny.
Cool.
I mean,
I'm glad the effect worked.
It's so funny. Like the first episode, there were flaming zombies, and then that second
And then
episode,
you had the
there were water
waterlogged,
zombies.
like, totally,
I'm
yeah.
It's just they're just
It was
bringing it to
the
such
molten
another level.
flesh had been like sagged
it
with
was
the
sloshing
fluid.
off
It
there.
was
It
just
was just-
sloshing off of the bones. It is the grossest
It's amazing.
show. It's fantastic.
How many years into this?
I think my bird just died. Are you
fell
all
asleep
right,
over here.
Stefan,
Yeah.
my bird man? You good? I think we're good with the birds. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of the bird love. This is my friend Stephanie's from Europe. Understand?
It's amazing how
Hey, Stefan.
how this far into the series they can still come up with stuff that just
Yeah,
makes
and it's kind of a testament to Greg Nicotero and the expanse of his imagination.
Yeah.
And at the same time that he's creating completely new and different creatures and characters, he's also putting little nods and tips to the movies that he watched when he was growing up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everything else is some like 1973 horror flick from Sweden. I don't know if Sweden makes horror flicks, but you know what I mean. And he's like, "Oh, here we're going to put one of the zombies that has a little thing on its brow that's like that little."
It's great that you do that. That there are a handful of people pick up on it, but you do that because you just love the media so much that you want to put all your little tweaks in there.
Exactly. Where your influences came from, the things that other people may recognize that you dug when you were young, before anyone was being paid for it and everything else. To still have that kind of like childlike playfulness is really exciting. And I think it's one of the reasons why the show is exciting is successful is because the people still have that about it. Like they're making this own little thing, and we can still play like kids in it. And isn't this cool? We're playing with these crazy creatures and this bizarre thing, and I'm gonna hack you to death, man. And it's a lot of fun.
That's great. Hey, so going back to your career, do you have a particular role that you consider your favorite?
I did a play called Man at His Best at the Young Playwrights Festival in New York City in 1992, and it was written by a young playwright who was 15 at the time, the Young Playwrights
Really?
Festival.
Wow.
They only took subscriptions of playwrights up to 16, and then the idea was that they would have professional actors and a professional director and a professional theater put on their plays. And so we did this play called Man at His Best, which was what I did with another actor named James G. Schuyler, which was, to this point, the absolute
Really?
most fun
Yep.
that I've ever
Wow.
had.
Wow.
Getting
That sounds
paid for
cool.
acting.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Would you say The Wire is the thing you're most recognized for?
The Wire is the thing I'm most recognized for, from people from ages 16 to 60.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna change right now with The Walking Dead.
Yeah, it might change from
Yeah.
Walking
Get some
Dead.
cred from
But I have a whole lot
Walking
of younger people who look really, really too young to me to be watching such a show, who are all over Teen Wolf, who are
Yeah.
just and it's really cool because in that kind of Pee Wee Herman sense, it's like, oh, it seems like it's this, but there's also
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
for everybody else as well.
Right.
I think Jeff Davis does a great job with that. Yeah.
Cool.
We
I gotta
ask
tell you,
everyone one question. Do you have another question?
I was just going to say, personally,
Yeah.
The Wire's some of the best television I've ever watched.
Cool, man.
And,
I
thank you.
personally think it's the best show in the history of television.
I would make that argument as well.
Oh, excellent.
So
We're not going to challenge you on that.
Okay.
If you were on a desert island and it could have one DVD with you,
Yes.
what would it be?
Taxi Driver.
Oh,
Good
very
choice.
good choice.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's
Excellent.
everybody talks now about how some of the best drama and best stuff that's going on now is going on TV. Is there anything
Yeah.
that you're into watching, or do you have time to watch TV? Or
I personally watch a lot of sports programs. I watch a lot of the NFL Network. I watch a lot of the Travel Channel, and I watch a lot of Ghost Adventurers. I don't really watch a lot of scripted dramas at all, mostly because I'm not home consistently enough
it's hard.
to follow it week to week. And I don't want to start watching something and miss 2 episodes and then try to catch up and then have to get the DVD. It's I'll get everything in box DVD sets in their time, and in the meantime, I watch a lot of NFL Network and Travel Channel.
That's awesome.
Where's this podcast going to? This microphone I'm talking into, where is it going now?
It's on iTunes.
iTunes.
That's
Download
on
it.
iTunes.
We'll give you
Okay.
a card.
Here's
It's not live. We're recorded, and then we.
I would hope it's not
You
live.
could have that.
Definitely
We're on
not
iTunes. Info on
Good.
the back.
There'll be a lot of
We've
editing.
been doing it for about
The
a year
regular
and a
shows.
half. We
Yeah?
recorded here last year.
Whose idea was it to do this thing?
We've been friends for about 15 years, and we go to shows, and we always talk about sci-fi and movies and TV,
Right.
and we're like, one of
Well,
these
other people were saying you should record this because this would be interesting to listen to.
Yeah.
And then we're like, let's do a podcast. We're like, okay, let's do a podcast. And
Okay.
then,
Right.
and we get to talk to each other every week, and we talk about the stuff we love, and we get to come here and
Nice.
see everybody.
What's
and
the
record.
best? What do you think the best themed podcast so far you've done is? Which show do you feel most like that was the idea? There it is. Which
Well,
was the
obviously it's this one.
No, of course. Good answer.
Honestly,
Good answer. Good answer.
But these were like last year we sat right in this couch
Mm-hmm.
and we're like, let's just set up and see what happens. And then C. Thomas Howell comes in and the
Right.
dudes from the Karate Kid come in and we're interview him just like you did today. And
Yeah.
just sit down and have
great.
an off the cuff conversation. That kind of stuff is exciting.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
talk about
The three of us are all toy collectors. We've been collecting toys for years. So
Okay.
We've done a few shows just about collecting, and those seem to really be
we
popular.
have hardcore
Oh, really?
listeners who are all into toy collecting. That's like
What, like G.I. Joes
Yeah,
or
G.I.
like
Joes.
more of
Started out
the?
as G.I. Joe
Okay.
collectors, but
And then
all
just-
kinds of
just
stuff.
Kept buying stuff.
Right.
It's just-
We grew up in the 60s and 70s, so all
Yeah, I
the
was
toys from back
70s kid myself. Yeah.
So.
What's your favorite toy growing up?
It was actually the Steve Austin $1 million man, $6 million man
Yep.
with the little magnifying glass for the eye where you look through the head.
I have every version in my collection.
We all have
Yes.
$6
Did you see
million
Oscar Goldman was here?
I did see. I actually had dinner in the green room next to Oscar Goldman. He didn't say anything. He was just laughing at all of Spawn's jokes. It was very bizarre.
Yeah, we
But,
actually talked with him
We
for a little
talked to
while
him.
today.
Did you?
He's 88.
I was like, this guy. I thought he was dead like 30 years ago, and here he is, and he's quick and he's sharp. And
Yes,
he's
that's what
on
we
it.
said. We talked to him.
He moves slow, but he's
Yeah.
wide
Yeah.
awake,
He was in
man.
Forbidden Planet.
We've been
I mean, that's
Forbidden
such a
Planet.
classic
We have-
movie.
All right, fellas, I think it's time for me to
We
continue my
appreciate it.
evening.
While we were in the lobby, I saw Stephen Williams of 21 Jump Street and Supernatural, which I'm a big fan of, walking by. He was like, "What's going on? What are you doing?" And we're like, "Hey, come on over and talk to us." And he sat down for a great interview. We were there for like I think we even talked to him after we turned the mics off. So we were there for like half an hour talking to him. He was a great dude. So check this out. Can you pull that closer?
We're trapping people as they come
We
down.
are trapping
I'm
people
with three guys who are trapping people as they come downstairs from the hotel, and they're calling themselves Joe.
Yes.
All three of them.
Yes.
All three of them calling themselves
Dave,
Joe.
I'm Barry, and that's Todd.
Say it again.
Dave,
Barry,
Todd.
and Todd. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Dave, Barry, and Todd with us here tonight.
Anyway,
Dave,
all big fans of your shows.
Thank you very much.
21 Jump Street, Supernatural,
X-Files,
Legacy,
man on
LA
X-Files.
Heat, Blackjack Savage. I have eight series. What were they? Oh, The Equalizer.
Oh,
you know what I'm upset about. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm Stephen Williams.
We said that. Yes. Gracious enough to sit down and let us ambush him and talk to us on the Regular Joe's podcast.
Yeah, actually, I ambushed them. I knew they were here. I need all the PR I can get.
So do we. That's why we want people like you on the show.
What was the other one? Blackjack Savage? What did I
You were saying
The
Equalizer.
Yeah.
I worked on the Equalizer.
I was the original. I was an original cast member of Equalizer. Me, Robert Lansing, and Edward Woodward were the three original cast members. And of course, Jump Street. And second movie now that they've done, and not asked me to walk through a frame.
What's up with that?
Yeah,
that's not cool.
Yeah.
That's not
that
right.
Is not cool.
That's
You
not
think
right.
not? I'm not going to say that because I still got to work in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to mention it.
Just in case.
So just in case, so Hollywood would know I'm a little bit perturbed.
Yeah.
I thought I was decent in all those
So
projects.
you having fun here in Rhode Island?
Yes, I am having fun. These things are so much fun. The fans are so incredible, just incredible people, who support us, and it's a lot of fun.
We were here last year. This show has grown. It doubled in size since last year.
That's what I heard. I mean,
they had to
lock the doors.
Yeah, they did. We couldn't get back here for 3 hours
at one point.
Okay,
but
I just tried to drink water with the cap on. That doesn't work.
Here, let me open it.
Oh,
so
butts in my hand. I got to put down.
There you go.
All righty, thank you very much. I just had a bottle of water opened by Dave.
Yeah,
we're a full-service podcast. You listen to podcasts? You're familiar with podcasts?
I am so non-internet, non-cyberspace, none.
Really?
I don't even know how to text. I don't text. I don't email.
You're probably better off.
You probably get somebody that does that.
Well,
for you.
I'm old school.
Yeah.
You got to remember, guys, I'm a baby boomer. I'm used to communicating with people direct, face-to-face. You can't tell what's going on when somebody texts you.
Yeah, that's true.
What did they mean by
that?
that?
Point.
The tone. There's nothing on an email that says the tone of your email, which is, you know.
Yeah. I just learned about speaking. Speaking email, really, because I thought, are these people really sitting down typing all of this stuff? And for what? And when it's much easier to dial those 7 numbers, and speak to somebody. I had a guy once tell me, I was on the phone with him. He asked for a number, or I wanted a number. And he said to me while I was on the phone with him, I said, give me the number, blah, blah, blah. He said, hang up, I'll text you. Now, my sensibility said to me, man, just give me the number. What do you mean? Hang up, I will text you. I'm talking to you. I have a pencil in my hand. I have a piece of paper next to me.
No, people don't like pencils or paper or...
nobody even rings my doorbell anymore. They just call me from the front door.
That's
I'm
true.
Here. Really, they use their phones.
Just had people over
they use
and they're
their
like,
phones instead of the
I'm
doorbell.
here. Oh, where are you? In the driveway. Really?
It's too funny.
I mean, okay, but it's an impersonal world.
A couple of questions for you. You've done a lot of work, obviously.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite role?
Actually, my favorite character. I have 2 things: favorite role, favorite character. A little bit different. My favorite character is probably Mr. X from the X-Files.
Good.
That's probably my favorite character. My favorite role, though, was August Brooks in L.A. Heat. It was like a foreign first run. Only ran 2 seasons. Me and Wolf Larson did the show, and it was like Lethal Weapon for television. And it was just a hoot, man. We got to do stuff that, most normal producers don't let actors do. A lot of stunts. I did my first 3-story high fall.
Oh, wow.
Jumped off a building. They taught us how to do these you see all the car stunts, everything but a pipe ramp. Did that stuff. Wolf and I had tremendous chemistry, and we sort of ran it.
Yeah. Well, that's fun.
It was for the first time that we were literally the stars of the show, so you got to do stuff that ordinarily they wouldn't, we wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah.
We had to tell people, we had to tell directors no. I'm not doing that. I think I'll do it this way.
Great.
So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And Blackjack Savage. Blackjack Savage was neat too. We only did 7 shows. That was a Disney Stephen Cannell thing.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
17th Century Pirate.
Yep.
And we shot it in Miami. And the fun thing about that was, I guess one interviewer asked me once, "Are you having fun?" I said, "Look at me. I'm dressed like a pirate. You know, I got this long hair wig on, the earrings in, and we're in Miami. You know, of course I'm having fun. You know, so
That's fun. Is the the genre, the fantasy, sort of the sci-fi, is that more fun because you just get to do something that's just not like regular?
Well, yeah, the sci-fi is much more fun because the sci-fi is what got me into the whole convention thing, you know, and that's a whole nother world. Somebody said it. I think it was Rick Worthy.
We saw him before.
Who said we've gotten to travel the world. Michael Jai White is here. He's just got back from Dubai. He's going to South Africa tomorrow night. Yep. So we've gotten to travel the world doing these conventions.
They've grown so big. I mean, we're convention goers back, from the 80s when it was just Star Trek and comic book conventions, but the stars and the autographing in the past 5 years has become such a huge part of these conventions.
Yeah, it's and I get to meet people, other stars, other stars, like I'm a star. But other actors that I've not met, that I admire, that I like their work and stuff. I get to meet them and
it's almost like a networking thing for you guys too, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Let me ask. We were always curious about. Don't answer if you don't want to. But did the convention say, "Hey, we want you to come to the convention," and they bring you out here? How does the whole thing work?
I'm never real sure.
Yeah.
Whether I've been. Well, yeah, you had to be requested somehow, but there's so many booking agents involved.
Yeah.
Like my manager involved, the gentleman that was just here, Damian Jackson, he's the booking agent who brought me aboard.
Okay.
So I don't know if the owner of the convention said, "Hey, can you get Stephen Williams?" or he said, "I can get Stephen Williams."
Yeah. Right.
I never know. I just like to come.
But they fly you out and everything, and
absolutely.
Just the logistics of that has got to be something.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they've got a lot of moving parts, I would think, to keep all the balls in the air.
I look at the Mavs sometimes and go, God, how are these guys recouping sometimes? Because, they bring us out, they fly us out, they put us up in hotels, and then they've got to depend on the fans.
Well, I can tell you how this one
recoup all that.
It's those endless lines down the street.
That does it.
Sold a heck of a lot of tickets.
They were pissed off at the fire department because they cut their profits in half today.
Yeah, it's almost like these. I don't know if I'm giving away any secrets here, but these conventions. It's almost like we're the sideshow.
Yeah.
The actors are the sideshow, or maybe the draw, because it's really the vendors. It's really the vendors that this thing is.
Honestly, we've been doing these for a long time. It's the actors these days that are the draw. Yeah. That is what.
That's the draw, but it's the vendors that.
Right.
Well, they get you guys to come. And then you do what you sell your autographs or pictures, which is awesome, and then they make the gate
selling
and then
everything else.
The tables.
Right.
But
you're called it a sideshow, and in a lot of ways, for every one person that wants to come and get your autograph, there's probably 20 that just want to check you out, look at you, and shake your hand. And
I get many people coming up to the table going, "I just wanted to meet you, just wanted to shake your hand," and there's always that sort of really, really moving incident. I had a lady tell me once that my character, Captain Fuller, changed her life.
Really?
From watching the show because of this. It's
awesome.
the social content of the show. Yep. Or the little, some fans that come and they just stand there and they look at you and they sort of shake and start crying.
That's awesome.
It's just, it's kind of, it's very humbling. Yeah. It's actually very humbling.
Well, it's great. Nice to connect with the people that, you're doing the work, but so many people see it, and it's nice to be able to connect with those people.
Well, I told the panel, we had the panel today, and they were talking about how much they enjoyed the panel. I said, you guys are 50% at least of the panel, because the panel is about an exchange.
Right, yeah.
It's about that interaction.
And it's interesting, and we talk about it ourselves. I mean, there's people, it's great to get out to these things, but you look at a guy, like a Shatner. He's got $100 million, but he still comes to these things. And I think they that connection to the fans. He can't need the money. But it's awesome that he just comes out and wants to meet.
I'm sorry. Well, the bottom line is
half-naked girl. Sorry, half-naked girl.
Bottom line is about the. Oh yes.
There's a story there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
guys, you should see us. There are 4 guys here. Now we've just all turned. We've all got whiplash now.
Yes.
From turning to look at a beautiful woman who just
walked by.
There's a lot
of that here, too.
Yeah.
So.
Without the fans, we are not.
Yep.
So I'm sure that's one of the reasons Shatner does it. We all realize that this is about them, that we are not popular, we are not working if we don't have people who are watching us and liking our work. So
True.
Like that.
What are you working on now?
I'm gonna do. I've got a. I'm gonna do an episode of Bones when I get back. One of my favorite shows. I watch. There's also we have a pilot that I've just done called the Over the Plus 50 Club. Over 50
Saw
Club.
that on IMDb. Yeah.
Oh, you saw that? Yeah. We're doing the premiere. I think on the 11th or something when I get back. Hopefully. It'll go someplace. We've done the pilot, and we'll see what the producers do with it. And that was kind of fun. And just looking for that next project.
Good.
Episodic stuff, movie stuff, and hoping for that next series.
Yeah.
I like a TV series.
Yeah.
That keeps me busy, keeps me getting up every morning, keeps
Some
me
of
out
the
of
best,
trouble,
some
out of
of the
time.
best storytelling is going on TV now.
TV's
great now.
Oh yeah,
It's great.
they're doing some very interesting shows, especially on the cable network.
We work in the cable business, not on the shows, but there's cable's really taken such a leap ahead, and like Netflix and all these things, the series on Netflix and stuff. It's really
great stuff. I want to say something. I want to start some controversy for myself. There's a show out there, you guys, and nobody said anything about it. That is a wonderful production values, the acting, the whole thing, just great performances. The Orange is the New Black.
Oh yeah,
you
watch that.
Yeah,
he watches that. Yeah,
fabulous show, but socially unconscionable. Think about this show, man. I thought, what a fabulous show that's glamorizing prison, though.
Yeah.
Let me tell you,
it makes it cool for these, young girls to go to prison.
I work at I work in an all-girls school. Okay, so I'm a teacher in an all-girls school. Yesterday was Halloween. You get a whole group of girls dress up as characters from that show. Okay, yesterday I was like, they had prison uniforms on. They had like cornrows in their hair. They had the whole bit, and they all knew every single one of them knew who every character was.
Yeah, that's making a statement about our culture, our society that I'm not sure I'm real comfortable with. I don't know.
When you look at
it's
shows
out there.
Again, guys, you got a great show, though.
Yeah.
Look at shows like
might like to be on it.
And there are a lot of shows that are glamorizing things that aren't really the things we want to be glamorizing.
Yeah, well, people are being rewarded for bad behavior these days.
That's true.
Look at Kim Kardashian, where she started and where she is now.
I've got to find me some bad behavior that doesn't involve jail.
That's what we were thinking. We want to promote our show. Like, what do we got to do? Should we rob a bank or, do something on the show to get more listeners? But
we can just lie. We can tell everybody we're now surrounded by 15 naked women.
Exactly. It's audio.
You can't see it, but it's awesome.
It's awesome. It's great. Having a heck of a time here with Stephen Williams.
Yeah.
Hey, we usually ask people if they have a favorite DVD, if they have a favorite movie.
If you were on a desert island and could have one DVD, what would it be?
It would be an adult one.
Excellent choice.
First person.
We've asked this question dozens of times.
And what's been the common answer?
No one's gone there.
No one ever said it. It would definitely be an adult one.
That was a unique answer.
I like that answer.
Fantastic.
It's a good choice.
Involving Brazilian women.
Yep.
We've had people like, this French movie you've never seen. No. Let's get down to the real deal.
Don't want to do that over and over again.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate it.
Hey, guys, my pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, moving right along. We went back in 2015, got some more great interviews, and here they are.
Here comes Michael Rooker, people. Right in front of us. We go up. Mr. Rooker, would you like to record with us? And he did. And here is Regular Joe's Gold. Platinum. Dare I say. Michael Rooker, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Doing a lobby podcast. You got a second to say hi? We'd love to say hi to you.
Come on, let's do it for a second.
Big fans.
You're the best.
Come on, here.
How are you, man?
Okay, come on, let's do it.
Thank you.
How's the show been for you so far?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
How about you? How are you?
Excellent. We're having a great time.
Oh, good for you.
We saw you a couple of weeks ago in Madison Square Garden.
We were at
that's
the
right.
Garden.
We did the Garden.
That
was
was
that craziness
that
or
was
what?
so much fun.
Rooker at the Garden.
Rooker at the Garden.
Yeah,
took
yeah.
that crowd by storm. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, we had so fun. So really, we had a good time. A lot of fun.
Did they know you were coming out? Because it seemed like they were surprised.
They had no idea I was coming out. Yeah, we kept it a real big secret.
Yeah.
Tried to keep it a secret from all the actors too, but they knew.
That was nuts. We didn't even know. We got invited as guests of AMC,
I know
but didn't know there was 15,000 people.
I
in
know,
that
it's
place.
crazy,
It
right?
was really nuts.
It was a little small crowd.
Yeah.
So you've had a big couple of years, man. I mean, between
Guardians of the Galaxy, awesome.
and everything else you've been working on.
Yeah.
What has it been like for you? It's
The
like
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
I mean,
of
come
course.
on.
Some
Good
of the
stuff.
best, the biggest stuff on movies and TV. An awesome, awesome,
Well,
awesome
it
couple
pays
years.
off when you don't give up. You're an actor, and you just keep on chugging along, man. It's all good.
Days of Thunder too, right? I love Tom Cruise. These guys make fun of me.
I've outlasted most of my naysayers. So
That's all good. So
that's tough in this kind of business. So it's good though.
But Guardians 2, you guys
Yeah,
filming? or?
we're gonna. Yeah, I'm involved.
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm gonna
awesome.
have a good time no matter what.
That's such a fun movie.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that, huh?
Oh, and they took a comic franchise that nobody really knew and turned it into this huge blockbuster movie. It was genius.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
James Gunn,
Absolutely
great.
brilliant.
Yeah,
Did such
good
a
writing,
great job
man.
with that.
Good job.
What's been one of your favorite roles you've done in your career?
People ask me that a lot, and you know what? It depends on. It really depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
You know, basically, I've liked almost everything I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things I'd rather see go away, but most of the things I've done have been very selectively picked, and I'm very picky. I was very picky early on in my career, and I sort of maintained that whole. I don't know. I don't feel like doing that right now.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So I just pass and move on and realize, I got to pay the mortgage, so I got to do something. So let's try to pick something good. And so you just keep on doing it. That's what you do in any kind of business, I guess. Try to pick the best job, get a good bid, and go for it.
Yeah. I'm also a huge Kevin Smith fan, and I loved you in Mallrats.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah,
we're going to do another one probably.
I know. I've heard that.
That's
great.
what I hear.
That's
That's what I hear.
That's awesome.
Is there a role out there for you that you've always thought of, something that you kind of, your white whale maybe, that you've always wanted to do?
There's a lot of roles I've always wanted to do, but they haven't come my way. But hopefully, I'll get some more stuff. After all the things settle in and people realize that we're having
comedy.
a good time.
You seem like you've got really good comedy sensibility. Would you like to do comedy?
I would love to do more comedy, but people don't.
They know Rooker's a
They
badass.
don't.
You're an intimidating dude.
They just don't. They don't get it. You got to do something, and then it's kind of blow their minds and go, "Oh my God, that was cool, hilarious."
There was a lot of
and
comedy
then they
in
realize,
Guardians.
"Oh, you know what? Hey, know." So we'll see one of these days.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Good deal, guys.
Yeah.
You guys are cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Best man. Thank you so much.
Hey, there's Daniel Logan. We're doing a podcast. You want to say hi?
Sure.
Sit on down.
What's going on, man?
Not much. Just
How are
hanging out in Rhode Island. Another convention.
Have you been to this show before?
No, first time in Rhode Island.
Yeah, really?
How you
actually,
liking
the
it so far?
province of Rhode Island. I love it, man. Being from New Zealand, I feel like my country is very new. And coming to places like this, you see history within the buildings, and it makes you realize that this country was established a long time ago.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the settlers that came into port from over, in Europe? And they smashed their boats against the rocks or the seashores. It's amazing.
Not too far from here, Plymouth Rock, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's from Massachusetts.
People wonder if I'm from Massachusetts, really. They say, where are you from, Daniel? You from Boston? I said, no, I'm from New Zealand.
They mistake your accent for Boston?
It's that distinctive Boston accent of yours.
It's
Yes.
that thick New Zealand
that's crazy.
American accent. It's Boston, park your car,
It does sound similar.
A little bit.
Funny. I didn't ever even thought about that.
Yeah.
So we've got young Boba Fett here. And actually not so young anymore because you grew up, you were on Clone Wars, you played older, young Boba Fett.
Yeah, we actually had 2 seasons that didn't get released of me recordings of Boba Fett almost every episode.
Really?
But
you need to get your ship back. I mean, I love that show. I watch it with my kids every week, and they've got the ship, right? Hondo had the ship.
Yeah, they canceled the show about a year ago, and then they started working on the Rebel series.
Right.
So that kind of was a bit of a sad moment for me because I didn't realize that they actually canned it until I was sitting at home watching that last episode, and then they had the rolling credits.
Right.
And something clicked, like, wait a second, they don't have rolling credits at the end of the Clone Wars.
Why is Ahsoka walking off?
Yeah, where's the Tom Kane voice? Like, yo, Rebels, next week, trilogy. It's like, wait a second, there's no next week. And I'm like, but I recorded 3 seasons almost, Oh, wow. So, yeah, I had to call a couple people, and then a couple people called me back and were like, yeah, it's done.
It's a great show. It really was.
It was. Well done. I mean, the thing is, it really brought the new generation to Star Wars. I mean, people don't realize when I got in the universe, I was 13. But in between the episodes of 6 and 1, there was like 15 years of no Star Wars.
Yeah.
And that's where I grew up. So for me to say I was a big Star Wars fan, I hardly knew Star Wars because it wasn't on the TV in my country. But then also, for me now, where I'm 28, I might have my kids, they might be in about 5 or 6. I wouldn't be able to relate to them in anything with Star Wars because now the prequels have moved on until
Right.
Disney bought it and the new ones came.
Right.
The Clone Wars was really like a pinnacle thing for the generation that Star Wars lost and the next.
Right.
And it brought the new generation of Star Wars.
Wire, sorry.
So you were 13 when you made Attack of the Clones?
13, yeah.
Do you
13.
have, like, vivid memories of it, or is it all like a blur?
I've just said so many stories for so many years that I just remember them over and over.
Yeah.
Yep.
The memory of South is gone, but the story continues to live on.
Yeah.
Like I have a story about when Obi-Wan first came to my house with Tonwi. I opened the door and I had to do this look like someone was giving me like it was suspicious look. That's what George's direction was. And I asked him, okay, well, kind of like a police officer coming to my house for one of my brothers, And he's like, no, not at all. Like, well, what kind of convict do I have working on my set, So Ewan came up to me and goes, hey, Daniel, can you do a face like I did a very smiley fart? And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So I open the door and I do that face, that first face when Boba Fett first enters and we see him, boom. That was me sniffing a fart.
Oh, that's so funny. That's awesome.
That's interesting.
That's a great
It's
story.
Probably the first person your character had seen in a while. It didn't have a foot-long neck. So,
Yeah.
Tonwi, yeah.
Yeah.
She was actually played by an actress called Rena Owens, who's actually another New Zealand actress. The whole funny thing about the Ewan story with the fart is I can say as many stories as I want, right? But until they're solidified by another person, then it's just hearsay or whatever I tell you.
Yeah.
But when Ewan came out and was like, well, there was this kid and this and this, and I made him do a fart, that was when it was like, wow, like, not only did I remember that, he remembered it too. You know what I mean?
Funny, yeah.
The three of us just rewatched the movie because
Just last week.
We've been trying to get geared up for the new movie. So we've been watching a movie every week and talking about it on our podcast. I mean, I've always liked the movie a lot, but we were blown away by Ewan. Like, watching it again with fresh eyes and seeing how much he was channeling Alec Guinness, and that was like amazing. Yeah.
The funniest thing about Ewan, right, is that most of us actors, we had critics, know, and the weirdest thing is thinking about Star Wars. Ewan McGregor was one of the only guys who got away scathed clean, without no criticism at all. Like
he was amazing.
It was not like, oh, Ewan sucked in that. It was like, people just never really said anything, It was like, it wasn't never like great or bad, like, and that's great, It means he did such a great job that no one had an opinion on it, Right. Where Baby Boba was like, well, you were a badass little kid, like, you were so grumpy. Why were you grumpy? I'm like, well, the budget didn't extend for me to be able to have lunch, so that was my hungry face.
That's great.
Regardless of what anybody ever said, the scene with you holding up your dad's helmet, that scene gets me every time. It's awesome.
Well, that scene, another quick story, that scene is funny because I never knew my dad got his head chopped off until the premiere. George Lucas actually had pulled me aside. I was actually getting undressed from wardrobe, and he had forgotten the one scene. So he came in personally to come collect me. We went out to the arena because they actually had an arena like full of clay and green screen. And he asked me to kneel down with the helmet and put it to my head. And then after I did it, he said, thank you very much. That's all we need. I didn't know until I watched it for the first time on set that he got his head chopped off. And that's when I was the only guy to cheer. Like, yeah!
Oh, that's so funny.
Wow.
And that's because I'm the baddest bounty hunter in the galaxy.
Of course you are. All right, so we got to ask you one more question. Did Boba Fett survive the Sarlacc pit?
Of course. I said numerous times.
Yeah?
He's the only guy who could survive.
How did he survive?
Well, it wasn't a matter of survival. The armor itself would have allowed him to be able to withstand the fall and also withstand whatever, the Sarlacc pit had as in, acid or whatever.
So he kicked its ass from the inside and got out.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to realize, even with a jetpack, you could blast a jetpack apart and still, blow it inside out, right? Just like a whale.
Some time on this.
So he's out there somewhere. He's out there somewhere.
Right?
Yes.
My bounties are far from over.
So
that's all I can say. I don't know. This galaxy is very far, far from over. So
yes. Well, we really appreciate you taking a
You're
couple
welcome.
minutes to come over and talk to us, man.
Very
Have a
welcome.
great rest of your show.
You too, guys.
Thank
Enjoy.
you.
Wait, here's Karen Gilliam right here. Right here, ladies and
Oh, my
gentlemen.
God.
Karen. There's Karen Gilliam right there.
And she's
Karen, would you like to be on our podcast?
Hey, Karen, how you doing? Go to bed.
We're the Regular Joe's podcast. We love all the work you do.
Thank you very much, and hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Have a good night.
All right.
Good night.
All right. Maybe not platinum, but gold.
That's fucking platinum, baby. It's not about quality. She's huge. 2 Guardians of the Galaxy people.
Yes, that's
She's
right.
awesome. Our first Doctor Who person, no?
Yes, actually, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
That's awesome.
All right. I'll elevate that to platinum status.
Lobby pays off, man. The lobby pays off. That's huge.
Of course it's huge.
What are you kidding me?
Okay.
Hey, yes, that was huge.
That was huge.
Oh,
I take nothing away from that.
She was right in my face.
And now I can confirm she clearly has a Scottish
She does.
accent.
Yeah, she does.
She was so sweet and beautiful. She was
Yes.
right in my face.
Yes, she was. Do you need a moment to
I do. I need to just...
I can still smell her, actually.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that was
Couldn't smell her.
spectacular.
Can't smell her.
Now it's a 4-way podcast.
That's
It
right.
is.
We have actor Tom Wright joining us here, who's
Yes.
been in everything.
182 things according to IMDb.
Really?
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have a favorite thing that you've been in? I've seen you in Grimm, and I've seen Star Trek, and I've seen.
I've got a few favorite things. I think one of the things that I'm really proud of is Star Trek Voyager.
Yep.
Where I played Tuvix, which was a cross between Tuvok and Neelix, which was a real challenge.
Yes.
But it was a lot of fun to do. I've done 7 John Sayles movies, most of which I'm really proud. So there, I'm here also for Seinfeld because I played George's boss when he worked for the Yankees.
Right.
Love that. That was great.
So here we go.
Has it been a good show for you?
It has. It actually has. The thing that I like the most about being at a Comic-Con is the enthusiasm of the people. I mean, people show up and they're really, really enthusiastic about the things that they love, that speak to them, So who can complain about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been doing a lot of shows, or?
This is actually my first Comic-Con.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's great.
Yeah, no, I've never done one
You
before.
picked a great one to come
Yeah,
to.
this is a good one.
We
We've
like
been
coming
going
to this
conventions since
Forever.
20 years we've been going to
30
things
years.
like this.
I mean,
Oh, my gosh.
And we don't even live in Rhode Island, but we come here every year.
Where do you guys
because
live?
I'm in Massachusetts. They're both from New York.
I'm in Long Island. He's in Westchester.
Oh, okay.
we
There
go
you
down
go.
here. We go to the shows in New York Comic Con and stuff
Right.
like that. But we decided 3 years ago to come to this one because the smaller shows are a little more intimate. You can get to see more stuff, and this
Right.
show's just growing and growing every year.
Yeah, and also the venue isn't oppressive. I mean, it's it's a pretty large venue. Providence is the town that's fairly easily accessible. It's not like you gotta fight the Throngs Neck Bridge.
Right.
Or the 405.
Yeah,
So
exactly,
it's good.
Yep. So, you going to do more shows now, or are you going to kind of,
I've got a few different things going on. I've mostly been doing television, but there's a film with Chadwick Boseman that's coming out sometime next year called you'll figure it out. You have to look it up. Once the check clears, man, I'm done.
It's pretty late anyway.
It's pretty late.
But there's also a really interesting independent film that could become a cult hit depending upon how it's executed. It's called Rebirth. It's about cults.
Oh.
And it's a real dark comedy. It's got Adam Goldberg and a couple of other really good people in it.
Interesting.
And I've been doing a lot of television.
Since we're going to do more conventions now that you've done your first one?
Now that I've broken my cherry.
We weren't going to say that, but it's good that you did, yeah.
It's possible that I will do more. If this is the vibe and this is the spirit within which people get together to do this particular thing, I'm all for it.
Yeah, we've gone to Philly and Dallas and done a lot of different ones. There's always a good vibe. You get a really good sense of people, like you said, people really being into what they're into.
And you guys, I mean, like you all do it together. I mean, every year. Oh, that's really fun.
Yeah, we do this weekly podcast. Is doing it for 2 years.
Oh, and you guys let it rip. That's what's really good.
Yeah.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening to this podcast. There are no scripts. There's no teleprompter. These guys are making it up as they go along.
Yeah, they
Sometimes
probably
it's solid
know that.
And that won't be a
Sometimes
surprise
it's
to
not.
anybody listening.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you coming by. And
Yeah, no problem.
thank you,
It's been my pleasure.
Here's our card.
Okay,
if
good.
You want to check us out? We're on iTunes and all that stuff.
Excellent. Okay, guys.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
And then there was 2016. Not much to say about 2016. I'm going to play the interview we got, if you want to call it an interview. Don't blink, because you might miss it.
Hey, check it out. It's Meekhead Brooks from Supergirl. Oh, hey, there he is.
Hey,
what's going on? We're doing a podcast. You want to say hi?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Really good. How are you?
What's it like to be the first really cool Jimmy Olsen?
I don't think I'm that cool. I think I'm a nerd.
Nerds are cool now. Look at us.
Yeah. Hey guys, how you doing?
Really good.
Love
really
the
good.
show.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, and there you have it. That is part one of our Rhode Island Comic Con interview retrospective that we're doing to close out the year. I hope you enjoyed that first half. 2017, 2018, and 2019 were really good years, so tune in next to hear those interviews. And until then, thanks for listening.